Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike, the Bowtie Writer. So there's a conversation that happens just about every 3 to 4 months. It's a conversation about what does it mean to be published? And there's inevitably people who are talking about, well, just publish on Amazon, or go TradPub, or what's Self-Pub, and inevitably a poor, confused voice will pipe up and go, what's the difference between Self-Pub and TradPub? So today, let's break it down. Most of the time when people talk about publishing and being published, there's really two main types of publishing that they're referring to. Let's talk about traditional publishing first. So, this is what most people think of when they think of traditional publishing. They think of their book being available in bookstores. Now, the strength of traditional publishing is that this distribution model exists. There are a couple thousand, 2,000-3,000 bookstore locations inside the United States if you're traditionally published. Indie bookstores and also big retailers like Barnes & Noble can easily get your book on your shelves. Anyone can walk into the store, they can find it, they can have a bookseller recommend it to them. It's just in front of a lot of people. That's the strength of traditional publishing, those distribution networks. Hanging in there?
Yes.
Thanks, man. Take it easy. Oh, it's really cold today. I don't know why I thought this was a great day to do it. Traditional publishing isn't perfect. It is, in fact, very slow. The other thing is that traditional publishing does have a lot of hoops to get through in order to even be part of that game. Here's how you get to be traditionally published. Step 1 is you first try to find an agent. That process, I've been querying for about a year, and this book might not find a home. I don't know. We'll see. So you find an agent, you query, you submit to several agents. One of them sends a back and forth and says they want to see some partials. There's some back and forth with them. At the end of this process, you have an agent who says, yes, I want to represent you. The next step is it goes out on submission. And hopefully your agent finds an editor who's interested in it, and then there will be some back and forth, there will be some confirmation. But once an editor takes an interest in it, and once they get approval and they buy your book, congratulations. You're going to be traditionally published in about 2 years. Last thing about traditional publishing that I want to talk about, money. When you're doing traditional publishing, all the money flows directly to the author. Not necessarily quickly, and not necessarily in massive magnitudes, but you shouldn't be paying money. If you've got a publishing house who's saying, we'll publish your books for $10,000, that's not a traditional publishing house. If you have an agent who's saying, I'll represent you, just pay me $500 a month, that's not an agent. That's actually explicitly a scam. You should definitely run away from them and possibly let other writers know, like writers beware. That would be not okay. Let's talk now about self-publishing. So, self-publishing, technically, self-publishing has been around forever. There have always been companies that are willing to take a pile of your money and then hand you a stack of books back. Things really changed with Amazon. Amazon and the rise of the Kindle brought with it the opportunity to publish ebooks on Amazon's platform for free. You could just throw them out there on the platform. Amazon was excited about this because they could boast how many ebooks they had on their platform. It is possible in 10 minutes to go on Amazon, upload some text that you have, bam, you have an ebook. You're published, you're out there, it exists. Congratulations. If you're expecting all the money to start rolling in though, we're gonna have to talk. So, the strength of self-publishing is that you have control over the entire process. You have everything from cover design to editing to plot contents. If you decide you want to include it in your story, there's literally no one stopping you. You have final say on everything. That means that if you like that kind of control, if you like that kind of granularity, you have it. That's great. The downside is that also means that if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. If you don't spend the time to find a good cover artist, you won't have good cover art. If you do sloppy or halfway editing, or you don't hire an editor, it won't get good editing. If you don't have a system in place to promote or distribute your books, then it's not going to get promoted or distributed. There's no one else doing the work for you. One thing you'll notice that I said was I talked about hiring editors and hiring cover artists. In order to do self-publishing well, you're gonna have to spend some money. You're going to need to hire an editor. You're going to need to hire a cover artist. Well, there is a lot of work that you end up doing to self-publish properly. Once you've actually got a system in place, another huge advantage of self-publishing is how fast it is. There are authors who publish a book a month. A lot of self-publishing revolves around ebooks. That's true. However, it is actually increasingly feasible to get good and affordable hard copies of your self-published books as well. For example, this is my friend Becca Lynn Mathis. This is her book, A Place to Run. Becca, look at these colors. That's just gorgeous. My friends make cool things. I get really excited for them.
Hey Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So, I'm staring at A Place to Run, and I was like, hey, what's a good one-sentence pitch for this? And then I was like, oh, I can just call Becca and be like, hey, what's a one-sentence pitch for this? So, hey, what's a one-sentence pitch for this?
What's a one-sentence pitch for this? Friendly werewolves and scary vampires.
Awesome. Thank you, Becca.
Sure, no problem.
Bye.
Bye.
It is increasingly easy to get gorgeous and affordable bound copies of your self-published book for you that you can sell or distribute. The challenge is where or how to sell or distribute. The other downside is that large major bookstores like Barnes & Noble, even if you've got a gorgeous, well-bound copy of it, your book's not going to be in bookstores. It'll have an ISBN, it'll be copyrighted, all of that will be true, but it will not be in bookstores. Barnes & Noble has a uniform policy of not accepting this. Individual local bookstores actually do sometimes make exceptions to try and feature some local authors, but that is very much on a case-by-case basis. It just very much depends upon the individual store and what their preferences are. So that is, in some very broad strokes, traditional publishing versus self-publishing. And the thing that I want to impress upon you is that it's not that one is right and perfect and wonderful and the other is terrible and awful and misguided. That's not how it goes at all. They're different tools. They do different things. They have different strengths and different weaknesses. So I hope this has clarified for you, at least in broad strokes, the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know down below. Like I said, I do not want to be self-published, so if you have specific questions about self-publishing, I may not be able to answer those, but I can also direct you towards people who can. So that's it. That's all I have for today. I just wanted to have this conversation to provide in one spot this sort of clarifying distinction. So I hope that this is helpful. So everyone, that's all I have for this week. I hope that you are well. Be kind to yourselves, all right? Take care.